Today's episode is an in-depth look at Adam Warzinski's beautiful triangle setup from the half butterfly. This is very simple but very high percentage. Let's get into it. So at this point, Adam Warzinski has everything he needs to complete a butterfly sweep. He has a butterfly hook in, he has control over his opponent's opposite side sleeve, and he has an upper body control. In this case, he's using a belt grip. There is, however, one thing that's going to prove to be a bit problematic to get the sweep, and you're going to see it here in a second. So here we go, it's time to execute. Warzinski goes for the sweep, but why wasn't it successful that time? Let's rewind and check it out. Notice how the player in white has his foot extended out to the side. It's extended in the same direction that Warzinski would have to take him as he starts to execute the sweep. Now, a lot of the time you can still get the sweep if you extend them high enough. And it's clear to see here that Warzinski did not use his full extent of his butterfly sweep at this first initial attempt. If you take a look at his bottom foot, when you start elevating a butterfly hook looking for a sweep and your opponent is really keeping their hips flat, that bottom foot or leg should be finishing the job. Instead of keeping that bottom leg bent and loaded with the knee on the floor, you can put your toes on the floor and fully extend your leg, giving you that extra lift that you need to tip your opponent's hips and get the sweep. Another option you have is just to, as you're sweeping, come up to your knee to complete the sweep. A lot of times just coming up to the knee is going to be enough to complete your sweep. Same concept here in the gi this time. So the butterfly player initiates the sweep. You see their opponent keeping their hips high as they post their leg out. As you come up to the knee, you're able to finish that sweep. Now the last solution I'm going to show to a posted leg and high hips is again Warzinski. So look, his opponent posts his leg, keeps his hips high. Watch Warzinski utilize his bottom leg to almost like a scissor sweep action. He sweeps his opponent's leg out from under him and he comes up on top. So the lesson here is that whenever your opponent is posting their leg out and they have high hips, the way you're always going to be able to finish that sweep is by utilizing your bottom leg. And that could be coming to your knee, it could be fully extending your bottom leg, or by kicking out their base with that scissor sweep style action. The opponent maintains base by keeping his hips flat throughout the motion of the sweep. So look at his hips, how they remain flat. And as Warzinski lifts, he gets no sweep. But it's really no problem because he still has the butterfly and he still has the sleeve grip and the belt grip. So we're basically right back where we started. It's still an advantageous position for Warzinski to be in. Now here's the beginning of the triangle. So look how his opponent sits out and tries to step over that bottom leg of Warzinski. Now Warzinski is going to react by throwing in his left hook to prevent him from stepping over, because that would be problematic seeing as he has a deep underhook. But the problem with his deep underhook is that as soon as Warzinski throws his leg over, his arm is a bit extended. It's a bit isolated at this point. Now, Warzinski still has the sleeve grip this whole time, so he threads his leg through and bites the triangle. This is just such a great example of chaining attacks. So remember this. If you're attacking from half butterfly, if you're trying to sweep with anything that's not an underhook, you technically have one of their arms isolated because your leg is under their armpit. So remember, if you're going for that sweep, again with anything other than an underhook, you can always start to double up the threat with the triangle because you already have a sleeve grip. Now, if you're sweeping with, let's say, an overhook and a tricep grip, it's not going to be the same effectiveness. The sleeve grip is ideal if you want to chain it with triangles. With the sleeve grip, you have much more room to thread your leg through and bite the triangle. This is one of the positive things about sweeping with an overhook. That, and it's easy to get. But it comes with a trade-off. The negative thing about it is, when you get a butterfly sweep with the overhook, a lot of times your opponent can use that underhook that they have after the sweep is completed to scramble, use their underhook to sweep you, all that type of stuff, which is not the best. When you sweep with an underhook and you come up on top, you immediately have the underhook. So there's trade-offs to each. I personally really like the overhook. Now, for all you guys that stayed to the end, you got a little bonus clip. Same exact scenario, just from a different match. The only difference in this sequence is that the opponent never tries to sit out and step over his leg like in the first clip. In this one, Adam Rosinsky sets it up without that. Very simple, very textbook triangle.